Sculptor is the master engineer and pioneer among the constellations, the pilot of the Gundam Sculptor, and the developer of the Mendeleev system. While he helped a number of constellations install a working remote control system, none have ever came close to it in terms of versatility or adaptability. This video is all about the special and situational armors in the order of the Mendeleev periodic table. The Selenium armor forms the Gundam Sculptor Selene upon combination. Codenamed Gundam Selene, it is the high mobility assault type of the Gundam Sculptor. Looking suspiciously similar to Gundam Karina, this Gundam Selene isn't just for show, with it being armed with a beam rifle, with a jagged edge acting as a bayonet, twin beam cannons, and 6 dragoons on the backpack, with 2 mounted on the bottom and 4 mounted on the composite units, which can also be sent out to pummel enemies or fire at them. The most significant feature of the armor is its overdrive mode, of which the Gundam gains thrust powerful enough to escape Jupiter's gravity well, making Sculptor impossible to target due to its speed. The Strontium armor forms the Gundam Sculptor Strontia upon combination. Codenamed Strontian Gundam, it is the jammer type of the Gundam Sculptor. Armed with a taser railgun, it shoots a wire projectile that can shock enemy pilots upon contact and incapacitate the opposing machine. The circles on the backpack are EMP coils that can let out an EMP at the cost of the power of the Gundam, hence always used as a last resort. On top of that, it carries the jammer bits, which can fire shots that create an energy barrier that traps enemies upon impact. They can also open up to grab onto enemies and trap them in the beam barrier when the two converge, each having grabbed an enemy, opening them up to being finished off with the beam sabers on the core backpack. The Thorium armor forms the Gundam Sculptor Thor upon combination. Codenamed Gundam Thor, it is the normal-sized Godbuster form of the Gundam Sculptor. Having all the abilities of Thor from Norse mythology, it can shoot high-voltage lightning from the handheld Mjolnir, which can chain between enemies. Moreover, Mjolnir can be thrown and recalled, and due to the special imprints in the palms, no other machine can use the hammer's abilities or even lift it under gravity. Lastly, it has the ability to summon the Bifrost at the cost of the charge of the armor, causing it to overload and necessitating improvised repairs from the armor hanger. The Plutonium armor forms the Gundam Sculptor Pluto upon combination. Codenamed Gundam Pluto, it is the assassin form of Gundam Sculptor. A culmination of the Chromium and Iridium armor's technology, it can turn invisible and be undetectable to radar, sonar, and heat sensors. The Mantle carries a pair of rifles that can allow for long-range sniping, the pierced harpoon tips for grappling and enemy capturing, and the molecular cutter that can slice through any material to execute Sculptor's enemies. Moreover, the knees have embedded beam needle guns that can fire high-pierced beam needles or generate beam blades that function as beam sabers. The Mendeleevium armor forms the Gundam Sculptor Mendeleev upon combination. Codenamed Gundam Mendeleev, this is the first elemental manipulator form of the Gundam Sculptor and is developed soon after he sortied in the second astral conflict. In an attempt to harness all 5 elements, Sculptor built drones of all the different elements to do so. Apart from the beam sabers, it is armed with a dart beam bazooka to complement the firepower of the water drone's arms mounted on the shoulders, and the chest unibeams of the fire and earth drones. Finally, the drones can separate from the body and fight autonomously, and the Gundam-type drones can dock with unoccupied armor to increase their fighting capabilities. The Tennessee armor forms the Gundam Sculptor Tennessee upon combination. Codenamed Gundam Tennessee, this is the perfected elemental manipulator form of the Gundam Sculptor. Completed and perfected at the tail end of the second astral conflict, this is second to the as of yet undeveloped Organesson armor in terms of every aspect. The most special feature is the elemental absorb system, which can absorb beam shots and the attributed elements with the smoke pieces on the limbs. Sculptor can either discharge them from the palms or create weapons and shields for the energy absorbed, among many other methods, until the charge is emptied. The arrow rifle can fire tracing shots that dissipate after traveling for a limited range and can be stored on the backpack when not in use. While the shield strengthens the Gundam's punches and fortifies the summoned energy shields to a degree. Being a constellation who thinks of every situation, Sculptor creates the occasion, so there is nothing that he can't rise against. From assault to stealth, from support to damage dealer, through the simple switch of a set of armor, he can do it all, albeit some better than others. At the end of the day, he and the Gundam Sculptor are still the antitheses to the constellation in the ritual fights, so never overlook how a simple armor swap can turn the tides of the battle. I would like to give a special thank you to Origin Bidan for helping me out with designing the Selenium armor and inspiring me to make the Mendeleevium armor. And also Knight X605 for helping me out with the color scheme of the Thorium armor. Big thanks to you guys for helping me out during this project because it would not have been possible without your efforts.